This week we reviewed Race for the Galaxy by Rio Grande Games. It's a 2 to 4 player game that takes about 30 to 60 minutes. It's really sort of an empire building victory point collection game, and it's space themed, as you can see.
So as far as craftsmanship is concerned, I'd say that, generally speaking, it's a pretty solid game. The box is well put together, and it's kind of a lame, perk, but you get a bunch of games on the shelf and you start stacking them and they bend. So
yeah.
Pretty sturdy game, pretty sturdy cards. The pieces are decent, even though they're punched out. Sometimes they fray and kind of flake around the edges. They seem pretty good.
As far as the art and things like that, I think it's all pretty interesting. Some of the cards really do crack you up when you draw them. You're just like, what the heck is this?
It feels like an old school Magic the Gathering expansion where like the really good art
Fallen
was only
Empires.
on like 1/3 of the cards, and the other ones were like someone smeared some ink on a page and it was supposed to be a black lich or something like that. Like, in terms of presentation and story in general, this game is a race for the galaxy, and it felt like we were racing for the galaxy. So I believe that story element definitely
Well said.
followed through on the cards.
It feels like you're trying to explore sort of an unexplored region of space. So I got that same feeling when you're drawing cards, you're getting plans, and you're like, oh, okay, I've discovered these worlds, and now I can play them down.
So in terms of accessibility, tonight was the third and fourth or fourth and fifth time I played a round of this game, and I'm still not sure if I really get everything that's going on.
What are you doing?
Trying to figure this shit out.
There's a lot of numbers and a lot of different things you have to memorize based on the phases. The cards help you. The specifically the rule cards help quite a bit, but there's a lot of specific mechanics written on the card that aren't super self-explanatory.
So this card means nothing, the hand thing with the card hand, so I'll just discard what I just picked up on.
But I would say overall, it takes some time to get into. It's a fun game, it's a deep game, but strategy-wise, I think in order to really mini-max this game, you've got to play it several times.
Yeah, I know you said that there are a lot of images, and I personally think once you get the hang of and learn the vocabulary of the game, having those images there is really, really helpful. And there's a lot of them, yes, but they're pretty intuitive. So it cost me 1 because I got -1 because I played this card. So I get the bonus, which is -1 to the cost of this. The cost of this is 2. So the cost is only 1, so I have to discard a card from my hand to pay for it. I mean, they match the phase cards, the way they have the cards laid out so that each phase goes right down the card. You know where to look on that specific card. Once you start to get the vocabulary of the game, I think it becomes really accessible, and you can start to play a little bit with the more advanced strategies. I was trying to PvP.
Yeah, you were trying to pee, alright.
But yeah, I do agree. I mean, the first time I played it, I'd already played Puerto Rico before, and I was still...
Sure.
I was really confused about what was going on. In terms of gameplay, I think this game is really cool. It's actually one of my favorites. I like it because 1, there's a competitive aspect, and 2, I think there's a lot of strategy that goes on in it. I think it is more strategy based than luck based. The card element obviously adds a bit of luck to it, but you can make decisions early on in the game and stick with them and continue to play strategies, or you can adapt a strategy if you think that things aren't going your way. One particular thing that I really like about the game, and this might turn some people off to it, is there isn't a ton of between player interaction. You can't affect other players' galaxies.
Hey Matt, why don't you fucking move my piece for me already?
But I think it makes up for it in the fact that there's this guessing game going on the entire time about what other players are going to play.
I do like that you can wheel on your feet to a certain extent, but there's definitely a point in the game where that wears off and you're just too far behind to come back from. So as far as replayability goes, I think that's where this game is definitely king. There are a lot of different strategies you can use within the cards just based on what you get in your first hand. It can shape the strategy for a whole game, or there's ways to sort of reset your options at the beginning. That versatility in the way that you can build your empire every time creates kind of a sense of, urgency, and I like that and felt like we could play more.
I think some of the longevity just comes from the fact that there's a lot of randomization based on your cards that you draw. So there's a whole lot of that, and also the random play based on what other people want to do during that round, consume, trade, etc. So yeah, I think that, depending upon the people you play with, depending upon the luck of the draw, every game's going to play differently. Overall, would you buy the game? You think it's worth? How much did it cost?
$30.
$30. You think it's worth $30?
I love this game. I think it's one of my favorite games.
I love this game. I want to play it forever, every day.
I love this game. I could play it a million times.
I just said that.
He loves this game. We could play it a million times. Having played it now, I wouldn't buy it. This is the first time I've said that. Some of that is influenced by the fact that
Just 'cause
Travis
I like
has
it.
it, and we've played it a million times, and he
Yeah.
likes it.
I mean, when I think about buying a game, I mean, price is a big motivator, but really more than anything else, it's how quick can I teach somebody how to play the game, and how much time is it going to take to play. I want to be able to pop something down and play it. The time's not an issue. I think the issue for me is just that it's a pain in the ass to teach someone how to play it and actually have a competitive game with that
I
person.
mean, it's definitely a game for experienced players. I know if you enjoy, replaying a game a lot, and you have family members maybe that are into board games, or you have a group of people that you play with all the time, this would definitely be a good investment for that group. But yeah, if you're a kind of person that has little board game parties where you're cycling a lot of people in and out, then this probably isn't the game for you.
Sure.